and welcome to my first video vlog of my art portion. I have been on YouTube before when I was doing my bikini building competition prep, and then my husband and I, we were just having fun with it during the 2020 days, and I was talking to him pretty recently. My husband is Chisel Chaz, and I was like, babe, should I start a YouTube again? Just like, I don't know, to hang out, do it every now and then. I would like to be consistent with it, so I'm going to try my best. I am so sorry. It's a mess. I was going through my order, trying to see what I was going to return. But yeah, anyways, and he's like, yeah, why not, babe? Just go for it. And honestly, when I'm doing my art, I really love watching YouTubers. I love when they're just like sitting there chatting, because for me, it helps my mind kind of like focus and also just, I don't know, keep my mind distracted rather than think of the time of the art that I'm creating, if that makes sense. Okay, so hi and welcome. My name is Mirna. I am an artist. I am also a mom. I'm a Navy veteran, and I do a lot of things, so it's kind of hard to do these introductions, but I did want to do an about me just because I wanted to kind of get my story out there about like my art, why I'm doing it, and hopefully if it inspires or if my story resonates with you in some way, that is amazing. If not, then, I love sharing my story to people and just having them see my side of my life, because everybody has a story, so it's awesome. All right, so I did a set of questions, and I might be reading a little bit off my screen paragraphs, just because I wrote it down, and I feel like I wrote it down enough to a point where I like how it sounds. So yeah. Anyways, first things first. All right, so what inspired you to start creating art? So when I was growing up, I was a huge fan of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. I loved the House of Imaginary Friends, Invader Zim, SpongeBob SquarePants, Avatar, Grimm, Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Pokemon, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Scooby-Doo, and so many more. I always loved to draw the characters in class. There was one time my classmate and we were just drawing things back to back to back, and I wish I would have got my memories out. I don't know where I put them, but I literally still have the pieces of paper that we were going back and forth to each other in class, and like I would draw like a character fighting his character, and then he would draw a character fighting mine. So it was fun. It was fun class. And then also I got into like doodling. I really liked getting those paper Starbucks at, this was like years ago. Doodle on my entire cup. I wouldn't save it. I would literally just throw it away. And it's kind of sad because I think I did some pretty cool doodles on those cups. Also, when I was growing up, I used to love scrapbooking. I would grab so many magazines. I loved scrapbooking. I also loved sewing. I used to have Barbie dolls, and I was like making like blankets and pillows for them. I would make them clothes. So I had a pretty wide range of things I liked to do when I was a kid, but I never really thought anything of it. I thought I was just doing things that kids do, but it never really clicked in my mind that, it's possible that you might be an artist. So, second question, why do you continue to create? So I personally find it to be very therapeutic. It brings me out of the reality in life and just allows me to indulge in a setting that I'm creating rather than something else being around me physically, other than the drawing. But I love learning new skills and how to be better than I was. I never really knew I enjoyed attempting works of realism until last year. It was the beginning of the year, and I just had a weird spark to try to create realistic dog in colored pencils. And from that, I was doing just a couple different colored pencil drawings, and then I had the inspiration to want to do a realism as in a person. And so I was going on Patreon. I was following these tutorials by Ali Hader, I think is that how you pronounce his name? But I did 2 of his tutorials, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I enjoy the realism, but for me, it was the I don't know, like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the passion, you know what I mean? So then I created my art Instagram, and I was like, let me go through just other mediums. And I didn't even know pastels were a medium until, like, I want to say it was like the beginning of this year, to be honest. I passed by an artist named Jason Morgan. And he has so many tutorials, and he's on Patreon, and that's where I also found a lot of my inspiration to actually go through with this pastel medium. And I tried one of his, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So as any artist, I put so much money into buying all these different pastels and pastel paper and all that. But it's something that I enjoy, and I enjoy doing animals. I enjoy creating animals and drawing animals, and maybe one day I would like to start getting into drawing more people, but I think for me it's just I really need to find something for it to inspire me to want to go and do it, rather than forcing myself to sit down and doing something. Like, I just don't like forcing myself. I just like going based off of inspiration. Okay, so third question. What do you hope your audience feels or experiences when they see your art? So I hope they look at my art and find a sense of happiness, comfort, curiosity. I want them to see my art and feel inspired, or feel like, oh wow, I feel like that parrot. I haven't done a parrot, but you know, it's just the sense of like tropicalness, the feeling that you see like when you get a parrot, you're like, oh, let me try to have them repeat a word that I say. Like, that's what I used to do when I was a kid. But I don't know, I guess just bringing back like the joy of your inner child, being a happy human being. Because I feel like a lot of people are not happy, but that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find my happiness, and I hope you're finding your happiness also through my art as well. Okay, so major life moments. I'm sorry, I have my computer screen of, oh, these are all the stickers and stuff. A lot of them are actually from one of my friends, Ren Market. He does these little stickers, and I'm gonna tag him because he's a pretty sick artist. Okay, so 4 major life moments. Are there any pivotal moments in your life that significantly influenced your art? So yes, my art evolved over time. I was born in Jordan, and I immigrated to the United States with my family when I was 5 years old. Being a part of a Middle Eastern household was difficult for me to adjust between a Western lifestyle and a Middle Eastern lifestyle. I didn't want to go through life in the traditions that my family was brought up in, so I decided to move out when I was 18. In Nebraska, you're actually considered an adult when you're 19, which I didn't know. So my parents told me if I didn't come back home, they will be disowning me. So from there, them and half of my family and relatives have not been a part of my life since. They called the cops. I was considered a juvenile at the time. In order for me to not go back home, I did a non-rational decision to get married, which don't do that, and to not go back home. So then from there, I ended up getting pregnant. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was working 3 jobs. So I decided to go into the military. And I think my son was around 6 months old at that time. He was pretty young. Okay, so I went in the military, and then from there, I ended up getting a divorce. And then I met the most amazing man, which is my current day husband. We actually met out in the middle of deployment, in the middle of the ocean, and it was kind of like, I don't know, for me, I instantly knew. I didn't know if it was lust, but at that time I was like looking at him and I was like, yes, that's gonna be my husband. So here we are, 8 years later. Okay, let's see. I've been brought into a family. Okay, yeah, so my husband, like, his family is so loving. They make me feel like I'm loved. They make me feel like I'm like part of their family, and to not have that from, I feel like I felt that throughout my entire life growing up, just because of the way that affection isn't really shown, like throughout my original birth family. But, with my husband's family, they make me feel like super loved. And so That's something that I'm super grateful, and it is a major major life moment for me because my husband is so supporting in everything. His family is so supporting. Even his relatives, they're always like, I see your art, it looks amazing, like you're so talented. And so for me, it brings joy to have people like that support you. But I was gonna say, I wrote down, from there, the support and love for art started sparking up little by little. I sometimes find myself crazy for everything I want to do and achieve, but he's right there telling me to keep going. There's a lot more parts of my life that's been pivotal in many roads, but it's just my journey, and everyone has a story. It's who we are and what makes us today, and that is facts. That's why I wrote it down. I guess I should mention, I have a 10-year-old son, and then my husband, he has a 15-year-old daughter, so she's my stepdaughter. And then I also was a surrogate at some point, and so there is a 5-year-old baby boy out in the world that, he's actually in Beijing, China, which we do communicate with them every now and then, seeing how they're doing, get some updates, updating them on their lives. So it's awesome that, I'm still able to be a part of his life. What has been the biggest challenge in your artistic journey so far? I'm so sorry if reading these is like making it not seem genuine, but I promise you it's just, I'm that type of person. I like to have it typed down, and then it just like jogs my memory. Not jogs my memory, but it just makes me feel like I know what I'm saying rather than ranting on. Okay, so the biggest challenge has been finding something to stay focused on. I love photography. Actually, back in 2020, I had a photography class, and my teacher, for one of the projects, I was like, can I just do a photography project exam that is through Shutterfly and just creating a book of images and stuff? And she's like, that's a really good idea. So I loved photography at that time. I feel like I know how to put photos and images together to tell a story. And she really, really loved how I did my photo book. And so after that class, she actually made it a requirement for the upcoming classes to do that project, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if people are like, why are we doing this? Anyways, and then I did another class for sculpting. I like sculpting. I actually got some polymer clay recently and a pasta machine because I want to try to do some like little miniature sculpts. And I was starting to do some stippling. One day I was going through Pinterest and I was looking at just, sketches, and I saw a stippling sketch and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to do. And so I did it and I was like, I enjoy that. So then I was also doing some painting, I was doing some drawing. I want to do so much, but there's so little time in the day to really do everything. My main journey now has been working with pastels, creating realistic drawing of animals. I've started painting a little bit of not so realistic landscapes, and I've gone back to drawing characters for fun, which I have a little mini anime sketchbook that at the end of the day I do want to gift it to my husband, but I don't know, it might be by the time of his birthday or like next Christmas, because I am slacking on it. And also, I hope to travel more to be inspired and to take photographs of subjects and landscapes that inspire me to create art. So like right now, I'm getting a lot of my images from Pixelbee, and the tutorials I'm doing off of, the artists who have the tutorials, and something that inspires me to do it as well. But it would be really awesome to travel somewhere and get my own photograph. Next question. How do you see your art fitting into your future goals? So I would love to one day have my art business full-time, but realistically, California is expensive, and even if I'm able to do my art business on the weekends during markets, for example, I would be happy. I actually am just starting another career path that's like more stable, and I want to have stability, especially with having kids and being in California, and we've been in apartments, so it would be really nice to be able to own a house or a condo or something sometime soon. So I want to get that stability, but at the same time I want to do something that I enjoy and I love, which is art. And I do want to do a market at some point. I really wanted to this year, but I think realistically with me creating more art that is more me, that won't happen until like next year. One of the last questions that I had on here is, what do you want your audience to know about you that they might not see in your art? So I know my audience is looking at my art probably thinking, wow, this girl is all over the place, but I love it all and I just want to share that passion and love with everyone. So right now my Instagram is, I'm trying to do it more consistent with like the mediums and stuff, but truly I love everything. I hope to one day be able to figure out like a niche that I can do, but like personally I just love so many different types of mediums that I just want to do it all, and I don't know if that's possible, but I did want to make a video. I did want to start a YouTube. I've been telling myself to do it, but for me it has been kind of an anxious feeling because I do have a lot of anxiety, and I'm at a point where I am starting to tell myself, like, you do what it is. If your art comes out and it just sucks, that's just what happened. And it is what it is. At least you tried it. At least you shared it. And not everything that you post and not everything that you're going to do is going to be A100. Like, it's not going to be like that. So I'm going to try to do the best that I can to do a weekly video. And have it be more just like in the day in my life. At the moment, I'm currently reorganizing my art area, and I really want to move it to our bedroom because our bedroom gets the most amazing lighting, which is where I am right now, but we have no space. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe, comment down below if my story resonates with you, or if you have your own story, I would love to hear it. And, I'm going to do the outro that me and my husband always did, and we're going to keep doing it, or I'm also going to keep doing it. But love yourself, love your family, love your life. Peace out, guys. Bye.